Okay, so I know nothing about this car, but I've got the man who does know. That's Max from RM Auctions. First of all, tell me what it's about, tell me how many there are, and tell me about the mechanicals of the car, please.
Right, so this is a Ferrari 250 Tour de France. Right, very, very early, first Tour de France's. There's only 9 of these cars ever produced, ever existed. And in here is a 12-cylinder, 3-litre Ferrari engine.
Okay, so it's 12 cylinders, 3 litres. What sort of power, roughly?
About 240, 250 horsepower.
Okay, and that's the same in period as it is now, or have they managed to squeeze a bit more now?
You know, with modern technology, you always squeeze in a little bit more. So, you know, maybe we're approaching 275 today, but in period it would be about 240.
And what does it weigh?
Just about 1,000 kilos, just over 1,000 kilos. It's all alloy body, so it's built to be very, very light.
And it was built for these long distance events.
Exactly right.
And so it has quite a high top speed?
Quite a high top speed, probably about 165 miles an hour, if you're brave.
That's nuts in 1956.
Well, can you imagine on a dirt road in 1956, in this car, flat out, at 165 miles an hour, on tyres from 1956? You know, cobbles and God knows what was on the road.
And some of the catalogue photographs just show it on dirt as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
So how much of an event like the Tour de France, how many kilometres were on dirt, do we think?
You know, they would probably do half was on dirt roads. I mean, the roads weren't paved like they are today. Now, if you find a dirt road, you think, ooh, gosh. But back then, it was pretty normal.
Yeah. And I noticed there's a complete lack of disc brakes at the front.
Quite scary, isn't it?
So it's drums all round.
Drums all round, but they actually work quite well. They're big ventilated drums, and the car is quite light, so it works quite well. You know, in 1956, nobody had brakes, disc brakes, especially on GT cars.
It's a beautiful looking thing, and I know I'm speaking out of turn, but it looks a bit like a sort of Zagato type front. It has an element of that sort of.
Yeah, you know, I think they were inspired. The bodybuilders at the time, the coach builders, were sort of inspired from each other. So I think you're right. It does have a bit of the Zagato look, and with the faired headlights, I think it looks really quite aggressive to try and make it more aerodynamic.
What do you do with it then? So we won't talk about value yet. What do you do if you own a car like this? What events is this right for?
This is where this car is really great because you do everything with it. Yeah. Tour de France, I mean, go back to the Tour de France. This car came 5th overall in 1957 in the Tour de France. 5th. So go back to the Tour de France. Great thing to do. Mille Miglia, because these cars did the Mille Miglia in period. These cars did Le Mans, so off to Le Mans Classic. Yeah. I mean, you can do everything with this car. This is why it's so great. And of course, you can do concours if you want to show it. I mean, it's a work of art. So you could race it, you could show it, you could be at Goodwood. I could see you there.
I'm available for weddings, bar mitzvahs, and Goodwood. It's got a lovely cabin as well, and it's quite curious asymmetrical seating arrangement whereby the driver's seat is a single classic bucket, and the passenger seat, obviously, with doffing its cap to the fact that the passenger, the co-driver, would want to be comfortable, has got a headrest and some reclining to it. It's a beautiful setup. And then matching luggage at the back. You can have a route around in the detail shots now. It's truly beautiful. I have to ask the $1 million question, or perhaps probably about $7 million question. Can we drive it, please?
Go on. Yeah, of course you can.
It's delicious, and you can't help but give it a little upshift flip.
Yeah, because it sounds so good.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so allow me to vaguely describe what's going on here. Max has generously said that the owner of the vehicle's let us have a quick drive in it to tell you what the sensations are before this thing goes under the hammer. It's spectacular. 1956. The driving position is all wrong, but in the right way. And I'm that classic cliched Italian position where my legs are bent and my arms are long, and I'm quite simian, so I should really fit this, but I don't. The engine, these little V12s are just stunning. They really are. It's got a very distinctive sound to it. It's not a shrieking V12 that we're used to, but it's got this expensive noise to it. The feeling that there are lots of metal components whirring away at the front there. It's lovely. I'm taking it very easy as you can imagine. It's got torque, 3,000 RPM, you put your foot down. I mean, in conventional terms, it doesn't feel fast at all. But just imagine what it was like in 56 with drum brakes on a dirt road. Come on. And it's small, isn't it?
Very small, compact.
I mean, neither of us are what you describe as large gentlemen, and we look quite big in this.
We're quite snug in
Yeah, I know. It's just beautiful. Just how did they drive it in period? The brake pedal, I'm pushing that quite hard now, and not much is happening. Jesus. The brake pedal is remarkable for its lack of cooperation, but also the fact that you can't really get to it because this beautiful wooden steering wheel kind of fouls your knee. Oh. So, yeah, Mille Miglia in this for 3 days.
So imagine doing 1,000 miles in this as quick as you can.
Yeah, just beautiful. Just beautiful. And all Ferraris should be light blue. Doesn't it look perfect?
It's just the right colour.
Yeah. Oh, it's just, everything's so immediate as well. It's got beautiful steering. Not all old cars have beautiful steering, but this one does. Just
Well,
lovely.
I think the driving sensation is much more, again, compared to a modern car, it's so much more direct and alive, and every input you put in is mechanical.
Yeah.
There is no power steering, there is no power brakes, there is no...
Would it be a shame if the new owner of this vehicle didn't use it?
Ah, it would be terrible. Sacrilege. And it's the sound of that V12, as you said, is quite addicting, I find.
Yeah. They sound like nothing else, do they? And
Nothing else.
the smaller capacity ones have got an urgency to them as well, haven't they?
Those little exhausts out the back, oh, it's just... And actually, I feel like it does feel quick. Not fast as in modern standards, not blisteringly fast.
But they rev out, don't they? They rev out.
And it does, when you put your foot down, because it's light and nimble, it does go.
Yeah.
It does want to go. It's still quite stiff, isn't it?
Well, I think what's very interesting in cars of this generation is that the shell stiffness had to be matched, the frequency of the movement of the shell had to match the suspension and the flow of the tyre.
Yeah.
So if you throw too much spring rate at them, suddenly you're aware,
Yeah.
this is just on the edge, isn't it?
Yeah.
It just feels like if it was even 5% stiffer,
It
we'd be here
would,
going,
yeah.
they're going to fall apart. Oh, it's just gorgeous. And the weather's perfect for it. I'm lucky, thank you. It's just stunning. 5 million quid. I mean, we're in rural Surrey. I mean, that would buy you 2 beds around here, wouldn't it?
I would say so.